Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies. Legend in the game, I think I found a solution. Got a crazy kind of flow, I need a verbal institution. Monster on the mic, I feel like hip-hop then adopted me. You pussy niggas shook, you let them turn this to a mockery. I give a fuck about their recognition. I'm trying to spit the fucking truth, somebody get the message. These politics, they overstate the obvious. They shooting like Stoyakovich, it's war on every continent. Deeper than you know, I'm what you hate if you the government. Young black with heart, I put a hex on the establishment. Niggas playing patty cake and I was trying to regulate. A lot of them are emulate, but none
All right, a little surprise extra reconcilable differences for you on a Monday. We didn't get to what she wanted to talk about yesterday. So we're back again for part 2 today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Observe.
I don't know how much there is to talk about, but we're going to talk about it. Whatever's there, we're going to talk about it. Yesterday, if you joined us, we did the spicy wing challenge thing. Ended up taking over the entire show. And it was a lot of fun. We did that, so we didn't really get a chance to talk about what you wanted to talk about. Yeah. By the way, welcome back to Reconcilable Differences. I'm Dave.
And I'm Blossom.
What's up?
And by the way, did your butthole, was it on fire?
No, luckily, no. Really didn't deal with too much. You?
Nope.
No burning rain of fire? No. That's good. Do you regret doing it last night?
A little bit, but I had fun.
Yeah, I had fun. It was a good time. Hopefully you guys had fun. It was a blast and a half. Tell them what they were doing today.
Okay, so basically Observe's ex-wife. She came out with 2 videos. If you don't know who Observe is, he is the body language channel. And I know I had stopped watching a lot of his content during the Gabby Petito case when that happened, only because it felt really weird. I think it was at the time, don't quote me on this, but at the time, I think Gabby Petito wasn't found, like no one found her body yet, and he came out with the video. I don't know. To me, I watch Observe for entertainment, so to me, I didn't find that entertaining, so I unsubbed. But his ex-wife came out with 2 videos accusing Logan of being her abuser, and then calls him a narcissist. And then this is also followed by screenshots of text messages that she's posted on her shorts. And it's also followed by her website where she goes into, I didn't read it yet, but she, I think, goes into great detail of what he supposedly have done to her. I don't know. So
the problem, since we recapped it pretty good there, the problem is that not a lot of it seems to be substantiated yet. Seems to be the issue at the moment. We're going to get into all of it because it was done on the day of a divorce. It's very emotionally driven. I think this is a classic example of what you guys are going to get when you watch Reconcilable Differences, because these are stories that I typically do not touch. And the reason for that is there's not enough usually to make a judgment. This one's a little different in that there's a little bit of history with the guy. There's some circumstances in this because was he a scumbag? Probably. I mean, like the divorce seems to be on his end. He left her for another woman is what it really essentially seems to have happened. But because he's doing the big YouTuber smart thing and not saying anything, we're not going to know for a while. It's going to be tough.
No, we're not going to know. I mean, if he cheated on his wife, obviously I question
that
your
one's
morals,
pretty easy,
things
sure.
like that. Scumbag, you know?
Absolutely.
But it's the other accusations. So
yeah, those are the important ones. But I mean, you have to wonder what's driving him. I mean, to do it on a divorce day, that's an intense thing to do. And she was like, it was a countdown. We'll watch it. We're going to show exactly what happened. But it was an interesting video because you talked to me about it in the way that you pitched it to me.
I did. Okay, so here's the thing. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of crap because when you look at the evidence, at least at face value, it doesn't seem like there isn't any evidence. But to me, I felt like something doesn't sit right. I definitely feel like I'm missing a lot.
Yeah,
and
a whole side of the story.
Well, other than missing the whole, we don't know Logan's side of the story, but it just felt like something wasn't right. Something feels wrong here. And I don't know exactly what that is. And I didn't read her website of where she was apparently more descriptive. So we're going to read that today.
We're going to go into it. It seems to, from what I've seen of it so far, it's a story. It doesn't mean it's an untrue story or a true story, but this is her telling a story. There's not a lot of, it's a lot of, I'll point it out later. And then unfortunately for her, she is troubled. By her own admission, she has a few issues that make things a little bit more difficult to get points across and things like that. And I think that it works against her, especially when she's emotional. I think it's going to hurt the overall story a little bit. That's why you got to bring as much evidence as you can when you bring the accusations. And that's always going to be my stance, that forever and always, it's hard to get behind a story when you don't know the full context, especially when it's personal stuff. So that's always been my take.
But my whole thing too is if something horrible happened to someone and they don't have any proof, so they not share their story to help other people?
Of course they can see. That's the part. Those two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. So her telling the story doesn't necessarily help anybody. What it does is, and the only thing it should do,
it could help future
potentially, but only if it's true. And there's so much you don't know. If the story's not true, it doesn't help anybody.
Right.
It can hurt him. That's the problem with an unfounded story. So while it might make her feel better, other people may have to deal with the ramifications of an inaccurate portrayal of them. So that's why you always want to be careful with that. But with her in particular, she's got to be, the divorce is already over. A judgment's already been made. She's kind of already saying she's doing this out of vindictive reasons. So there's going to be questions by her own story. She kind of did that to herself. Mm-hmm. So while I think that every story should be told and everybody can make up their own minds if they believe it or not, the one thing that can't happen is shield them from criticism.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the big thing to me.
Yeah.
Like you can't, if I can't blame somebody for believing the story, well then you can't blame somebody for not believing the story because it's for the same reason.
No, I'm not saying that, but because there's a lot of people who don't think she should share anything if she doesn't have any evidence. Don't share anything if you don't have any evidence because that's irresponsible.
Well, it's the safest route. It saves you from prosecution. It saves your reputation, especially if you are in the middle of an emotional breakdown and you have issues. I mean, it's not the best time to be throwing accusations that are unfounded. So it's for protection. It's coming from a good place.
I agree to a certain point. I don't know if it's coming strictly from a good place.
Oh, not all the time. No, you're right.
I just think
sometimes
also if I truly was a victim and I had no proof of anything, but I knew I was a victim and this shit happened to me, you better believe I'm going to plaster it all online. I don't care if I have proof or not because I'm going to warn, Logan's next person. You know what I mean? But obviously, like I said, we don't know.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, if this did happen to me, if I, it just.
So let me ask you though. Now that the divorce is over, and she's not gonna, you're gonna find out she's not gonna get any alimony or anything like that. If she can't prove some of this, and he decides to eventually go after her, she loses big time. Because the court's gonna make her,
okay,
and that's the problem with putting out accusations on public stuff. Because that could be actionable. That's another part of it. We haven't gotten to that aspect of it yet. And if he takes her to court, and then he really doesn't have anything to hide.
You're about to knock.
Yeah, I know. I might knock that over. It's a tough discussion when it comes to these things because you're playing with not even your own money. You're playing with somebody else's reputation, and unless you're lock solid and ready to go, you're not going to be.
I get it, but if he does take her to court, then he would have to prove defamation's hard. He would have to prove that what she said isn't true.
But if he does take her to court, doesn't that give an indication that he can? I'm just saying, if she continues, I know if I keep seeing one-sided pieces of conversation and that's all there is because there is no other, because the other part's gone or whatever, I'll ride with that in court. I'll ride with that in court, especially having money and, probably having a better lawyer that's already beat her in court once. I'd ride that.
I would hate for this to be a situation where she was right. I would hate for this to be a situation to where she was 1,000,000%
Oh God,
right.
I'm with you there. nobody wants anything like these to fall through the cracks or them to be. It's such high stakes because when you go public, it's career enders. It's life altering. You know?
She just gets shut down.
No, it's not that at all. It's just you have to accept the ramifications of what could happen if you're wrong. And that's what she has to weigh. Mm-hmm. And it's like with anything. If you can get it right, you always want to get it right. That's with incarcerations. That's with public opinion. That's with anything. If you can get it right after the fact, you get it right after the fact. And if the person's wrong, they got to eat it.
Yep.
So it is what it is. And this is an interesting story. This dude is kind of interesting to me in that he is a body language expert. So he's one of those pseudoscience guys. He's one of those dudes that I don't really like in the first place, which is nice because it makes it a lot easier to make fun of him if he is a dickhead. But in this instance, I really didn't like the Gabby Petito thing. I don't like anybody who tried to cash in on that because it was such a disgusting situation. And like, if you didn't know this girl was dead, it's like, come on, first off. Second, to exploit it when there's active investigations and some of these people not saying him, others reached out to the parents offering false hope, psychics, mediums, all these YouTubers
it
too.
It just felt, like I said, I watched him for entertainment value. So I didn't find anything entertaining about the whole Gabby Petito situation because that's real life, real murder. Yeah. And so for me, I exited out.
Which is easy.
But to each their own.
The box is there, Leon. Yes, the box is there. By the way, big shout out to the chat there, Leon. Cut, Cast, Fake, Black Rose, and Real Leon getting there. I see the box in the background. Yeah, that's our commemoration from last night.
I don't know when the next time we're gonna have those hot sauces. Let me tell you, that shark one.
It's the bomb.
No, it was the shark one. The bomb was the last one.
No, that was Last Dab. Shark was right. The shark is what kicked it off. Right. The shark was a bitch, and then the bomb killed us. Mm-hmm. We got a little.
That was literally the bomb.
It was, and we got a little bit of a reprieve, and then the Last Dab kicked it all in that next year. But we never recovered from the bomb.
No, the bomb was
not the bomb.
It was definitely the bomb, though.
It was Chernobyl.
It was
Chernobyl. It was.
I almost died. I was like.
It was so funny. You were on the ground, man.
It was really bad.
You tried to disqualify me for brushing a tooth. Like, what's wrong with you?
First, because toothbrush touch your teeth. I mean, toothpaste. Toothpaste touch your teeth.
Toothpaste did not.
Whatever.
There was no toothpaste. I flicked. I was killing me. I had so much chicken in my teeth. Mm-hmm. It was bad. Mm-hmm. But that was a lot of fun last night. Seeing Dave crying with no audio was hilarious. It was like watching a silent film. Yeah, it was a good time. All right. So I think all the disclaimers and disclosures are probably out of the way. I feel comfortable looking at this now.
Okay. All right. Let's watch the first video. Yeah, that one. Oh, hold on. Let me.
Oh man, you can see my undies a little bit. What's up? See my shorts. Salute your shorts. See my shorts. There we go. Yeah, you got to watch that cock. It was messed up. All right, so here she is. This is, what's her name? Piper?
Yeah.
Piper. This is Piper sitting outside the courtroom on the day of her divorce. So emotional. It's an emotional thing to do.
Well, that's why it's kind of like, okay, well, some shit went down.
Yeah, well... Yeah, she's hurt.
Mm-hmm. Hi, this is Piper. You know me from...
Hold on. Hold up.
What? Something's wrong with the audio?
From the YouTube channel Observe with Logan Portinier.
Why is it echoing?
Today I'm divorced.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Something's wrong with the audio.
Something's wrong with the audio. Oh,
as usual.
Don't you know? It wasn't doing this earlier.
As usual.
Yeah. It's okay. It's gonna be...
I stick to StreamYard.
Forcing him. And...
Why is it doing that? Why is it echoing?
And I'm literally at the courthouse. I will be there in an hour. And he will be appearing remotely.
See?
I
think next time we should use StreamYard.
I'm down with using StreamYard. I'm just trying to figure out why it's. Oh, okay. Never mind. It sounds fine on their end. I can deal with this. Okay, good. Awesome. I know why.
And free to speak on who he is. Because who he is a fucking monster. He is a gaslighting, abusive, manipulative, lying monster. He has no credentials for what he does. He has made up all of his experience. None of it is real. He's never trained anyone. He's never worked on any cases. He's never... anything he says.
That's right. Reconcilable technical difficulties. I figured it out too. I got it. That's good stuff there, Fake. All right. So right off the bat here, we're seeing she's going in hard, hot and heavy. And so this first 46 seconds, she makes a lot of accusations, and the problem, she doesn't really touch on some of them later on. I mean, she just called him a fraud. She said his credentials were fake. It's a lot of accusations in this first 46 seconds.
Here's what's problematic about it. This reminds me of when Swoop did that documentary, long series on Colleen Ballinger, and she sat down with Joshua David Evans.
Right.
And although Joshua David Evans was a victim in all this, he was also complicit. He was also involved. And so to me, my first question is, okay, I understand that you're saying from the title of this video that you were abused and etc. But now what you're telling me is that you knew, he didn't have credentials, or he's essentially a fraud is what I'm picking up. So, but you were
fine. She was fine being in the hot tub. She had no problems being in the hot tub when things were going good.
So that's my only thing from
that's the first
face
red
value. Flag. And I'm like,
it's a big red flag.
Did you profit from this? Were you involved in this? So it raises eyebrows, and I'm questioning.
Now I get that especially when you're going through a divorce, sometimes you can't say anything. Sometimes it's smart for you not to say anything. In a situation like this, when you have these type of accusations, this is where I don't think it's a good time for you to keep your mouth shut. Lawyers, especially because a divorce, if it's a nasty divorce, you're going to be slinging everything. Your lawyer is going to be doing some of the work for you. They will go through social medias. They will find everything they can and use that to your advantage. And that's what happens on the other end too.
Also, though, that being said, even though it's a red flag, I think also if it is an abusive relationship, the argument can be, well, she was controlled. There was this power dynamic. He was the one making all the money. So I had to do what he told me to do. Right.
But I mean, look, eventually even Tina Turner had enough. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just saying, you either make a stand or you have to deal with the ramifications of being complicit. And the reality was,
I don't agree with that argument.
She was complicit until he cheated on her. And then he cheated on her. The complicity goes away and he's a monster. It could be as simple as that, because with that mixed in with all of her emotional things that she will get into, that's a cocktail for anger and resentment and rage. And I'm not even going to shit on her for it. You know why? Because this shit sucks.
Here's what I will say.
Yeah.
If she didn't come out with, if it was just this man cheated on me, this is the bitch who he did it with, and this is that and that and the other, go ahead, have a ball, put him on blast.
Right.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. If she leaves out some of the other stuff,
I'm all 100%. For like this is the bitch that he hired and cheated on me. Oh yeah, I'm all for it.
Sure.
Now, but that's
fine. But when you start going into the other stuff, it raises, because the reality is this started with you questioning that. That was the thing that got me interested in this story. Is that was the first question that you had was, wait a minute, this chick was profiting, and then she's good with it now. And now she's not so good with it when she was before. That's what got me initially interested, because I think that's a conversation that does not get had enough when allegations come out.
Well, also, too, at the same time, what balanced it was, this is a person that studies human behavior, whether it's bullshit or not.
Yeah.
This is a person, that's what they believe that they do. Yeah. So I'm like, well, if you're studying human behavior.
Here's the thing on that. And I think that you're right on some instance, but I have to look to another thing. There are people who are experts in like televangelism, for instance, the religion sect. They're supposed to be experts on morality and all these things. In fact, they get millions of dollars donated to them because of the fact, same like YouTube, in fact, on television. And you know what they had to do with the money?
What?
They buy G5s because God told them they need a jet. Okay, and that's true. Creflo Dollar. What? I'm just saying.
Oh, the Uber's here.
Oh, we have food here because our timing is so good. All right, so you keep talking about this. Oh, Lord.
I'm not going to say anything.
No, it's your show, baby. Go for it.
I'm not saying anything.
Go
The
for
Uber's
it.
here. Look, all I'm going to say is this before Dave makes his entrance back in. Do you know the code? Okay. Yeah.
Come on, man.
All right. All I'm going to say is this. I questioned this story from the very beginning because, one, we don't hear anything from Observe, but to be honest, if this is the only evidence in Observe's defense, I probably wouldn't say anything if this is the only evidence that she has against him. But two, him being like a body language analyst channel, it does make me question, okay, well, if he was going to be a narcissist, anything that she shows us, I mean, it doesn't necessarily, it sucks because it doesn't prove that he is a narcissist, but it doesn't not prove that he isn't either. You know what I mean? There's just not enough evidence. Now, once again, we're going to read her website and what she wrote, because I don't know what she wrote, but just looking at the screenshots that I saw earlier, I didn't see enough in there that gave me this indication that he's this horrific person other than the fact that he cheated on her. So there goes that. But as far as the other claims, wasn't there. I didn't see from a glance, because I didn't go through all the shorts, but I didn't see anything that was like, oh, aha, like an aha moment. But what I did see was him using his language carefully, very careful with that. And that could be, oh, he's a narcissist, or that could be he's a social media is he an influencer, content creator? So obviously you're going to be smart when it comes to text messages, because she can do something like this. Because when you look through those text messages, the only person that's being real aggressive is her, not him. But this could also, because we don't know, it could be numerous things. It could be he knows how she is, so he knows how to communicate with her. There's a numerous amount of things. But what caught me off guard was there's a screenshot that she posted where he goes, I don't know if I'm a narcissist. I'm still working on that. Something along those lines. We'll get into it. And so I was like, either he knows how to talk to her really well, or he's playing her. So I don't know. It's kind of weird because he just answers everything perfectly, which is not a defense. It's not a defense that he answers everything perfectly. But it's just very.
He should.
I don't know. It's just something don't feel right. Okay. It don't feel right. Something does not feel right. So Dave's almost back. But those were my 2 cents. From a glance. Trippy and savage. It was all good till she was broken off.
Oh God, what are the comments?
It's a bitter breakup. Is the video supposed to be covering our faces?
That was earlier.
I think it's still.
I fixed it.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Just because he's a douche canoe or a bad boyfriend doesn't make him guilty of anything. Very, very true. That's always, but that's the easy guy perspective as well, you know. So I can understand the other side of it too. It's hard to defend. It's hard to defend. But yeah, he's doing exactly what he should do. Because here's the reality: he won the divorce. I mean, we'll see more of that in a second. But he wins the divorce. So the smartest thing he can do is just let her punch herself out.
I get it, but all I'm saying is something don't feel right. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate. If this was the norm of their marriage, and this is what he's used to dealing with, this could be the reason why they ended up getting divorced. You know, this could be, I'm just saying, he knows how to deal with her silences. If he doesn't, the only reason.
But he knows how to deal with a lot of ladies, apparently, right? So,
well, at least one other. We know that's for sure. At least one other. That bunny girl. We'll talk about that.
He hired her, looked just like her, by the way.
Oh, they look alike?
Kind of short hair, like kind of, you know, and I don't know. Like, does he not know what he's doing? Like, I'm very questionable.
No, I mean, like, it could be, he could have hired her. They fall in love. He's having a bad marriage.
For sure.
I mean, it could be as simple as that. And that's fairly innocuous. People are going to get hurt with it, but it could, you know, it's.
Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh, you're going to take a call live on the air?
No.
Let's go.
Oh. Hold on. It's Uber Eats.
Uh-oh.
Wait. What was that?
What?
Did you get 2 of the orders? Hold on.
Oh, did he give us somebody else's food?
Wait.
Is that yours too? What did you get? Because I thought that was the cake.
It's fine.
Yeah, it should be all ours.
Okay, it's fine.
Or did you steal someone's food?
I don't know, but
Did you make me steal someone's food?
no, it's fine.
You call that Uber driver back. Am I going to give somebody back their food?
No.
Blossom's trying to steal people's food.
Not stealing anyone's food. Gosh.
Yeah. It's this. Yeah. Let's watch some more of this video. I am
Okay.
hungry. Oh my God. We got good food tonight. Yeah.
That he's done, he's never done it. He's never even taken the master's course that he promotes. His manager, Bunny, is his girlfriend who he cheated on me with and now lives with. So when he says the observed team or something, it's just Bunny. She's his employee and they're sleeping together. So do with that information as you will.
See, she says stuff like that. Do with that information what you will. Like, what do you mean? You know exactly what you want done with this information. Don't be disingenuous. This
I think
hurts your
it's
cause.
obvious that she's hurting. It's very obvious. And I honestly, these are the points I will give her. She can wear the petty flag, okay? She's entitled to that.
Sure.
Her man went ahead and cheated on her with this
Allegedly.
lady that resembles her, you know, a little bit. So yeah, she's entitled to be petty.
Allegedly.
Whatever.
We gotta
she's
use
entitled to be
allegedly for now.
petty.
Now, the funny thing is, yeah, I don't know. Well, no.
Oh my gosh, hold on. I'm
When
so
I was
sorry.
in my relationship with him,
Hello? Hey, what's up? Oh, it's the ghost pepper. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. Bye.
Let me guess what that was. Can I guess what that was?
What?
Was that your mom asking where it was where we were in the video last night when we were eating the hot sauce?
No, that was Bianca asking my favorite Popeyes order.
That was nowhere close.
No. No.
Right family, but that was it. Oh, shit. I thought she was trying to see the video from last night, see where we died on camera.
Oh, no. Sure, you know I was going to win.
he was incredibly psychological.
Did you ever
Here's the
think...
thing. Guys, this is why I say that I win. You know why? Because I was perfectly fine after we were done filming, and this person was still gasping for air for like a full hour afterwards. So
She
I
was
just want to
hurting, too.
say
She was hurting,
I was
too.
not hurting like
She was
that.
acting
I was
tough.
not hurting.
She sobered up real quick when she realized I couldn't do any more of the show last night. Then she was Miss Tough. No, what's wrong? We should do another hour and a half. Why are you being a whoop? Why are you being a wuss? Dave, what's wrong with you?
I'm just saying.
We did an hour and 40 minutes on capsaicin.
Okay, but then prior to that, you did also a 4-hour stream. So
Well, yeah, but that didn't affect anything. That was a stream.
yeah,
That was different. And doing a little different.
my point is,
I couldn't talk about this after that.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
kidding me? I don't know what I would have said if I had that coursing through my veins. Are you out of your mind trying to get me canceled?
oh
Shit.
gosh,
Shit. Feed me.
Emotionally, mentally, physically, and sexually abusive to me.
All right, so I want to recap that. That was all the abusives. All the abusives. Let's listen to that again. Very important.
Okay.
This is all the abusives.
Being together. So do with that information as you will. When I was in my relationship with him, he was incredibly psychologically, emotionally, mentally, physically, and sexually abusive to me.
It's 5 abuses. It's all the abuses.
To you emotionally, mentally, physically,
and sexually. That's all of them. I mean, like, so we have to ask questions when it's that bad.
Right, physically.
That's all of them.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen anything, police reports about this guy? Has there ever been any controversies with him and her in the past?
But to be fair, though,
there's not always.
Here's the thing. Yes, it's questionable when someone gets on camera and they literally name out all the terminologies of, being abused and all that. I get it. It sounds very sus.
Right.
But with that being said, a lot of abused people out here in these streets, they don't sit there and go to their local police station when they've been abused either. Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with that. But I also think that that's less common than it used to be. I think social media has emboldened a lot of people to come forward a lot sooner.
Still, people don't just
I agree
go to
with
the
you.
police station.
I'm saying it's becoming a little more, and not just for the police.
Especially if he's the breadwinner on top of that.
No, I agree with that. But you have more to gain now by going forward than ever before.
Not immediately.
You're not wrong.
Because he still has the funds, the money, the food.
Once the divorce is started, you can change strategy, because that's when you're supposed to be taking it to him. Like, if he's done all of these things, that's when you need to be presenting him. And the fact is, she probably did in court. So that's, if I had to guess what's going to happen, and that's just because I just have a feeling, my own feeling here. She is going to push him to release the court documents. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling all of these things were probably in the divorce, if I had to guess, because why wouldn't they be? I mean, in the divorce, she's not just going to say, oh, everything was hunky-dory. She didn't get anything. She gets no alimony from the guy. She lost. Like, the court sided with him. So my question is going to be, when he does inevitably get tired of this or get pushed to the corner where he has to release, what if it is all in there, which it very likely will be, and the court just simply dismissed it because lack of evidence, or it's too zany, or the case may be. This, to me, what she's doing feels like a last bullet situation. She has no more bullets in her gun. She's reaching for something. She's throwing it in and hoping that she gets a shot off. That's what it feels like.
What's interesting to me is I feel like there was a waiting period, and I don't know why there was a waiting period.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Something tells me she had to wait until they got divorced. Like, because she was like, finally.
Publicly, yes. Yeah. But it would still be in the divorce, though.
I don't know.
That's the thing. You would still be.
We're missing something.
Oh, we're missing a lot. There's no question. Let's listen a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Bait me throughout the day with.
And thank you, Victor Roman. Whoop whoop.
Flirtatious texts, and then accuse me of being a sex addict when I would try to initiate sex with him. And then he would initiate at the worst times when I was emotionally down or had been manipulated by him, or he was love bombing, and then he would initiate sex and knew that I would give in. So he, under psychological duress, would trick me into having sex with him. So
this is where she's going to start having some hard problems, because now I cut her off right before she said what she's going to say, because this is the part. This is the hard one here. She says a lot of things that are argument based and things like that, and then she makes a huge jump here, and this is where you just have to make your own personal discretion if it's in play or not. But she's saying that because of the times he wanted to have sex with her and the times that she wanted to have sex with him, that constitutes rape. That's what she just says here. And that's a
she
big
said that
accusation.
he would initiate it,
right.
And she didn't want to, but she eventually ended up just.
But it's a tough one, because there's no context to that here. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's something we can just speak on, because we don't know.
It's just it's a big accusation.
Yeah, of course.
She just accused him of rape.
Of course, that's a huge
it's
accusation.
A massive accusation.
Huge, yeah.
Would trick me into having sex with him. So he raped me over and over and over again over years, and would play with my mind in every aspect. He used my illness, endometriosis, against me, he led me into psychosis with the way he was treating me. I experienced psychosis almost every day for nearly a year because of the way he was treating me. And he didn't get...
So here's another problem she's going to have. She's going to have to present her own medical documentation. Like, I mean, that's at least fair, right? I mean, she said she had psychosis for an entire year. That, you got to document that. Like,
I do.
mean,
Okay,
like,
so
man,
I do.
Who's diagnosing her psychosis? She can't be diagnosing it herself. That's not enough evidence. Continue. I'm sorry.
Well, I do. I hopefully we'll get to these text messages because he doesn't exactly say. He kind of calls himself her caregiver. So
I can understand the context of that, though, and she's going to give us reason for that to be understandable in a second. She has a lot of now. If they're diagnosed, I don't know if she's self-diagnosing, I don't know if these are actually diagnosed disorders. I have no idea. But if she has all what she's about to say, he is kind of a caregiver. We don't even know if he might claim her as such. She might be a dependent. We don't know how much care he had to give. That's
what I would
the
hate.
thing. It's a tough one, man.
What I would hate is for people to write her off as a Looney Tune or something.
I would hate for it to happen too.
People to write her off, and then this guy who's really good at reading body language was just really good at manipulating everything to where he looked like the good guy and she looked like the...
I understand that, but it's always going to come down to he didn't force her to make the video.
No.
That's the thing. They divorced. He moved on. She chose not to. What can you say to that? All he can do is play the cards now. All he can do is defend. Especially if he didn't do anything, because right now it's just as likely he didn't do anything as he did.
Is it possible that she was like, this divorce was a huge omen for her to be like, okay, now I'm done. I'm under from him, and so now I'm not afraid of him anymore. I get to, speak up. I get to tell the world, like, this is the fraud that he is. Is that possible?
Yeah, it's very possible, but it also could not be true. Like that just could be her perspective now because of her emotional state. And that's what we don't know, because for so long it wasn't true. And now it is. And the likeliest, I'm just using Occam's razor at this point. The divorce, she's sitting outside the courthouse. This is an emotional reaction, and that is important. It plays into it. Because it could
be a powerful one too.
I agree with that if it turns out to be true. So this is just my advice to anybody who's going through something like this. When you want to, she wants to take him off the platform. She's about to talk about it.
Of course, she wants to
deplatform him. And if that is your goal, you have to, especially if you're in therapy, and she's going to come out with all this in a moment. She's in therapy, she's working through stuff and all that type of things. So if you're doing all that and you're working towards mental health and all that, you've got to do this the right way. And I think she's doing herself a disservice by putting things out without proper evidence for people who are vicious. The court of public opinion is a vicious place. You're not going to get what you want from them. You're putting it out there and then they're going to decide it. And a lot of them are going to fucking attack you. And that's going to make it worse for her. So I'm thinking about her mental health here too. Because in the future, if you get it all together, you put it out there and you let people really see it, it's better for you.
But she's also, as a result of this, she's also found such a really great community of people. The comments she didn't delete, she's found a community of
You're kind of helping me there. Yeah, she's going to find anyone who will agree with her.
But listen, she found a community of people that are like, oh my gosh, my husband was just like that too, or my partner was just like that. But
the divorce rate's 50%, honey.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying though, she's also found a community of people that believe her.
Oh, sure.
And have gone through the same things that she's going through and actually understand, what? I understand what a narcissist is because they do the same thing. You know what I mean?
But there is a big group of people who don't need evidence to believe somebody. There is the Believe All Victims group, which they don't care what the accusation is. They don't care what evidence is there. They don't even care if the argument has been defeated previously. Believe all victims. Believe all evidence. Like the evidence is, or the accusation is the evidence. I can never be a proponent of that. If the accusation is all the evidence you have, you got to go back to the drawing board because you can't take it public. You're gonna get beat.
Here's what I'm saying, if this makes sense. I don't want to sit there because God forbid that this is actually true. So what I would say is I don't want to sit there and be like, call her a liar, call her like
no, I'm not
dishonest
even
or anything.
No.
That's what I don't want to do.
No, but I think it's fair to call her questionable.
Yeah.
Right?
It's questionable, but I don't want to do that.
but so is he. I think it is fair for her to draw questions towards him, but it is just as fair for audience members to say, stop.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, what are we doing? You know, throwing mud publicly and getting this nastiness out there, it sucks. You know, it sucks, and it's out there forever. So now you got to think long term, right? So I'm going to assume eventually she's going to get over this, and she's going to feel better about herself, and she's going to date. Someone's going to have to see this and determine if that's the path they want to go down. And that's not even as bad as like a job.
I think that's the last thing on her mind. If she's being abused, yes, that's the last thing on her. Or she was abused, that's the last thing.
But is it a bad idea to stop and think about the long-term ramifications? I don't know. I mean...
I guess, Steve, if anything in life, you could think about the long-term ramifications. But I highly doubt if I was being abused and I'm thinking of my future, this video is going to be the last thing I'm going to think about.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the smartest thing that... the guy can do is for now continue to be quiet, especially if he didn't do anything. But if it goes to the point where she's going to talk about anything court related and he can prove it that she tried to enter this stuff into court and it was dismissed, I think it hurts her. It damages it. And then she does look crazy at that point and it's bad for her. So that's my worry. Now let's continue watching.
Give a fuck. He didn't care. He would do whatever he wanted, do to me whatever he wanted, didn't care at all what was happening to me mentally or emotionally or physically. I was a burden to him. He would tell me that he couldn't be mad at a concept of my illness. He had to be mad at me.
That's a harsh statement. And that does sound like something somebody would say because it's like you can't be mad at the illness, right? So it's like for him to be mad at her is fucked up too. It's not something you would ever want to say, especially as somebody who is going through it. It is definitely a messed up thing to say. But
I think we can argue that he is a piece of shit for,
well, everybody fights.
Right. I think we can argue, like, obviously he wasn't that great.
It's hard to base that off of just that, but it's not a nice thing to say.
I'm going based off of you hiring your team. And your team ends up being the girl who you're now in a relationship with.
100%.
So I could say, I think it's fair to say, okay, whatever, bad shit that she's saying, okay, fine. Like, he wasn't that great of a guy to be in a relationship with. Yeah. Got it.
But now let me ask you this. What if what happened was because what she stated was he's now living with her. They're divorced now. So what if he didn't actually start dating her or like officially dating her until he separated from her? What if he hired her, he started to have feelings? What if he did it the right way?
She went on to say, where did I see this? Did I see this in her stories? But she went on to say that this chick was apparently also married.
Yeah, she was married too. But what if they both were in the same situation, decided to leave their significant others for each other and separated and the timeline? I keep going back to the fact this woman got no alimony. It's a big thing to me. You know how hard that is? With no prenup to not get any alimony? It's just weird.
Okay, honestly, I really don't know what happened there.
It's
I
so
don't.
weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are we missing?
It's weird.
Like, I kind of want to pull like public court docs.
I do, but at the same time, I don't. It's like because I don't care about it that much. It's just like I'm gonna let it come out.
I'm just very curious. Like, what is the deal here? Like, what? Like, why is someone? Because then you see in future conversations, he's also kind of struggling too.
Yeah.
So,
but when you're going through divorce, you are struggling. Trust me. Even if you're not, you're going to tell you're the person you are.
I know.
Your bank accounts are empty as fuck. You're liquid. You are liquid.
From the videos that I've seen of her, I can see her easily being tricked into doing things from the videos that I've seen.
I could see it, but the thing is, it's not always necessarily ill-intended. I mean, like when you're dealing with a mentally ill person.
I mean, why she didn't get alimony? That's what I mean.
Oh, that I have no idea.
Yeah,
that's between the court. I couldn't tell you, man. You know how hard of a manipulator you got to be able to manipulate a court to not give a woman any alimony after you cheated on her? See, that's the thing. That's why I came up with that whole thing in my head about the separation. Because if he can prove that he was separated and he never cheated on her before that day, the court's going to side with him.
Right.
And she's just fucked. And that's why she could be coming out with this, because she is fucked with a capital F. I don't know. It's just, this is such a tough one, man.
I agree.
It's hard.
He, near the end of our relationship, said that it was no longer his responsibility to pay for my well-being.
Bingo.
That he wouldn't allow me to get a job. When I would say, I'll get a job, he would say, how would that make me look, making a disabled person work? And this would be after he would scream at me, like literally in my face, scream at me for hours, saying, you do nothing, you provide nothing, I do everything for you, you do absolutely nothing. And I would say, okay, I'll go get a job. And then he would respond with that. And I never had access to our money, never, other than grocery shopping. And even then, most of the time it was declined.
Cautionary tale out there to everybody in a relationship: have access to your money. Have access to some money. You do not have to give power up to and especially nowadays. We're in an era now where you do not have to. You do not have to succumb to that fear. There's more ways. There's chime banks. There's mobile phone stuff.
I can understand. Once again, like, this still means a little bit nothing.
It is, because she could have easily agreed to all of it, because it's an easy lifestyle.
Not even. What I mean by that is it's understandable why she didn't have access. She didn't have a job. She wasn't making any money. Although I think everybody should, in relationships, have access to money.
Yes.
I could see him saying, okay, well, I'm the breadwinner. I work. You don't work. So I will give you money.
An allowance or something.
I could, you know what I mean? It's a shitty situation. It's a horrible situation. And if it's true and he didn't allow her to work, then obviously it was a controllable, you know what I mean? He was power. I don't know though. We don't know. So
the thing is too, when it comes to those type of arguments and fights, she's agreeing. Now we have to then determine if she's agreeing under duress, and we can't go back and see that argument.
All I can say, y'all, is from the 2 videos I did see when I was curious on who his wife was. He had a Patreon. I think he still has one where he had promoted her and they were in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing, but
you said that seems sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. Yeah. I thought he was promoting her channel, promoting her, and I was like, oh, he's trying to lift his wife up so she can get views too. I was like, oh, that's cute. But, you know, the 2 times I cared, so I don't know.
Yeah. It really, these public fights are just, they're tough. They're tough.
Cheated on me with Bunny. He pushed me into a wall. He trapped me in a car so he could scream at me. I tried to call the police on him many times, and he would take my phone out of my hand.
So I always have a thing with that. So she says she has tried to call the police, okay? And he took the phone out of her hand. But why not call the police when the phone's back in your hand? Do you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but it's one of those things where there's an answer for everything. Because you could be like, okay, well, she was scared too when she did get her phone. Like it
could be as simple as they had a fight and then made up, and then now, fuck them. I wasn't really making up. I did it for that. You know, it's hard.
Like, because my question to her is, you know, if you were trapped in your car and things like that, were you scared?
Yeah.
You know, did you feel like, because he was allegedly physically abusive, did you feel that if you did call the cops, once you got your phone, that he was going to hit you? Did you feel like he was going to withhold food and money from you? So, I mean, I just want to know, like, what did you feel?
And when did that change?
And why you know what I mean? Yeah.
So when was she empowered enough to go through and that's another thing too that bothers me. Typically, abuse victims will take a little bit more time to come out with something like this, because it is such you got to think about this. This is a very difficult time to put out your accusation.
I don't think so. Because I think for some people, they view her sitting in front of that courthouse as something powerful. I mean, like I said, guys, this all could be bullshit. I don't know. But I'm just saying, there's another way to look at this video.
No, there is. But I mean, if it wouldn't have already gone into a court situation, you know, I mean, we're talking about something that's already, I don't know, man. It's because of the accusations that she's levying, it's hard to get past that. Because if you were trapped in that fear, why are you now so emboldened? Why are you now so empowered? And where was that before? Not saying that you should have just found it earlier, nothing like that. It's just a question that I feel has to be asked. What changed? Was it that, okay, he's cheating on me and I know it, and I'm angry now. And why is that angry enough in your own safety? These are just questions that bother me when it comes to these stories, because they're logical holes, you know, and it especially
maybe
when you
these questions will be answered
I hope so.
in her website.
I really hope so. But yeah, we got a lot to get to. I'm sorry. Yeah. We've been going on and on.
I know. Play this video.
He would hit our dogs. He would not get me food when I was trapped on the couch or in bed because of my illness. He would just let me go hungry or thirsty because he was busy. And how dare I ask him? This is really hard. I can't do this. I can't speak on everything that he did right now. It is too difficult for me. Maybe at a future date, I'll speak about everything.
See, I think this does her a disservice, because I can't speak on everything. Then why do the video in the first place? Because you're starting and stopping, and now you'll see in the next video, total different vibe.
Just know that he is a horrible fucking monster who deserves nothing in this world. He deserves the pits of hell for what he did to me. He does not deserve to have a platform, especially one where he goes about saying that he's a voice for the abused. He deserves to rot in hell.
Rot in hell.
And I have no shame saying that whatsoever.
She's got no shame.
I'm moving on for me.
She says she's moving on for her, but this isn't moving on.
He deserves the pits of hell for what he did to her. He deserves the pits of hell.
That's an extreme. That's a heavy.
But also for me, I need to say this because it's part of me moving on. Part of me moving on means that I'm not going to just lie and let him get away with the abuse, because he's getting out of this divorce with nothing. I'm getting no money, nothing. Even what
he's getting out of this divorce with nothing. I'm getting no alimony, no nothing, she says.
Is not getting to me because I can't handle his threat.
She says something interesting here too.
Him get away with the abuse because he's getting out of this divorce with nothing. I'm getting no money, nothing. Even what I'm owed is not.
Even what I'm owed. What does that mean? Even what I'm owed. What does that mean? That's an interesting one, because what was the other money?
I think honestly,
did they have a contract?
I think she's probably referencing the fact that she helped behind the scenes with Observe. That's what I assumed.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
And so she worked for him to help build who he is today with his channel. And so she's probably like, even what I'm owed, the money that I'm owed for.
But if his team was Bunny, did she help him build anything? Do we know if she was a part of his channel at all?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
No, I don't know yet.
We don't.
Getting to me because I can't handle his throwing a fit any longer. It is emotionally exhausting and I cannot handle it. So I've given up. I've thrown in the towel and said, fuck it. I'll get divorced. As long as that happens, I can move forward because I can't.
Oh, they were in a threesome. Let's read our website.
No.
I hope his career is
I don't know.
destroyed.
That's Trippy Savage. He may not be. He might be trolling. Hold on.
Oh, really?
Trippy Savage, are you putting in something factual or not? Because you just changed the narrative here. If you're right, then we're really not covering much more because shit.
Can we go to her?
She got her, but they were in a threesome relationship. In a molecule, they were all three sleeping together. I think he's fucking around.
Oh, really? Because I was like, wait, what? But how about this? Can we go to her website? I want to read what
poly, not molecule. Were they poly?
I know. I want to see what.
Let's go to the truth.
She's
Hi, I'm Piper, and most
let me
the ex-wife.
also log on.
Now
to
that
it.
I can hear to speak the truth. Following, the past I've been pretty open, but we have been silent.
Hold on. Wait.
I'm skimming.
Wait, no. Hold up.
I'm
Let
to
me
the important
let me
things.
get to the page. Hold on.
Somebody's calling. I'm already on the page.
I know, but I want to physically be on the page.
Hello.
Did I send it to you? I gave you the link. I can't find the link. No, but I'm looking the link for myself and I can't find the link. Where?
Okay, so Trippy Savage is saying yes, they were all three in a relationship together before they broke it off. This is nothing. If that's true, this ends this for me.
Okay, hold on.
Because this is just a bad breakup and nothing more. This ends it for me immediately. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out.
You just want to eat the Uber Eats food. That's it. That's all you want to do is eat the Uber Eats food.
No! You bought the cake! No!
Wait, it's in the freezer?
No.
It's ice cream cake.
Well, someone should get up and fix that.
Thank you.
Threesome, man.
All right. Hi, I'm Piper, and most of you know me as the ex-wife of Logan Potenier from the Body Language channel. Observe, now that we are officially divorced, I'm here to speak the truth about what happened and who Logan is. If you've been following me, you know that in the past I've been pretty open about my abuser, but have had to be silent during the divorce proceedings. Today, I want to clearly say that Logan Potenier of Observe is my abuser. I was also a victim of abuse and assault by his partner and manager, Bunny Ann, or her real. She's really like.
She's doxing.
Yeah.
Did she just dox?
Yeah.
All right. Shit.
No one enters a relationship thinking that they are or will be abused by their significant other. So to more clearly explain how things got to the point of explosion, I will go back in time and tell you how things got to this point.
That sounds like a meme. Hi, I bet you're wondering how I got to this point.
I will say this. I don't like the first sentence when she says this because this does illustrate that she's trying to paint a picture of her being a minor, which she wasn't.
She may have learned a couple of things from the manipulator.
Because she goes, I met Logan when I was a month shy of 19 and he was freshly 21. Okay, that's
word mince. That's
yeah, like at the why I say a shy of 19. To me, you're trying to paint this.
Second red flag.
Okay,
they're in Montana. That's not good.
Stop. Okay.
They're Montanans.
There's nothing wrong with Montana.
Tell that to the Unabomber.
At the time, I had just moved to Bozeman, Montana, and I met him through one of my brothers. Logan was attending Montana Bible College to become a pastor, and I was working at a coffee shop and also dating someone long distance.
Oop!
Logan.
Oop! Oop! Oop!
Well, at least she's being honest.
Ooh.
She's being very forthcoming. Okay.
I'm just saying, poetry in motion.
She's being very forthcoming here. Logan and I became friends quickly, and he was perfectly charming and made me feel like he understood me. He was really into reading body language, and I was very quiet, so I felt like he knew me every time he would read that courting. I was in pain or no one else knew.
It's called being attentive to your partner.
Eventually, he convinced me to leave my boyfriend for him, and we began dating.
Come on, baby! Come on! Oh, this is great! I wasn't expecting this. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I'm loving this story. Ooh, she should have really hired an editor.
So here's my thing. So what I'm noticing is that there's no accountability on her part for things. I do feel like, so he just like convinced her to dump the guy that she was seeing long distance to
date a real man.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of there's no accountability.
Don't you want to date a real boy?
Oh gosh. Okay. I was surprised when he very quickly wanted to buy me expensive things and was showering me with compliments, affection, and gifts. As someone who had spent their life being the outcast of the group, this attention felt intoxicating. Very soon after we started dating, literally everyone in my life was telling me that he wasn't a good person and I should break up with him. I, of course, ran to him with these accusations, and he convinced me everyone was just out to get him and that it was us against the world.
What do you want him to say when you come to him? Everyone hates you and thinks that I should leave you. fuck them. That would be my response. Fuck them. That's the only response. Fuck them.
But she's trying to say that even the people around her felt like he wasn't a good guy for her. That's what she's trying to say.
Because he's opposite to everything she's had. She was socially inept. She was not out there. She never had anybody court her like this. And all of a sudden, he's doing it. So what does that mean? He's taking her away from her peer group. And they're going to get snippy. They're not, may not like that. So he's a bad guy. He's changing you, Piper. You've never been like this before. And Piper's like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. This guy's giving me presents, all the panache I could possibly ask for. What am I complaining about? She's happy. Piper's getting piping and she's a happy girl. And her friend group isn't happy about it and they're trifling. Or he is evil. There's always that possibility.
He's evil. Again, as someone who has always been desperate for attention, all of his love bombing just swept me up, and I was hurt.
Do I love bomb you?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I would love bomb me.
But I won't complain.
Good. Don't complain.
That's not anything to complain about.
Continue.
Okay. So fast forward 2 years and we're getting married. Up until this point, he had been incredibly physically affectionate with me, as I had expressed that affectionate with me as I had expressed that was my love language. Although we were conservative Christians, we sinned and had sex before marriage. After that, I was sure I couldn't marry anyone else because I was now damaged goods according to my religion.
Oh, man. She's playing every victim
He was
card.
the only one I could be with. I had sinned and no one could know. I remember the night before my wedding, lying in bed and every part of my body just screaming to run, to go upstairs and tell my parents I wanted out of this wedding. But I was damaged. I had sinned. I deserved this. I went through... So to me, that's also a cry for help for other reasons.
But she was so
now
basically
she's gotta,
she was miserable from day one. She never wanted to be in a relationship with him. She
I didn't hear all that.
I did. If they're sinning and she's damaged goods, who's to blame for her being damaged goods? It's not nobody. This is not a woman who's taking responsibility for her own actions. Mm-hmm. So, and considering she wants him taken down, she's clearly blaming him. This is the guy that she said raped her. She's definitely blaming him for that, for her being damaged goods. Absolutely. And religion, of course. Thank you, religion. It's craziness, man. I mean, look, it all could be true, but all these together, it's starting to paint a pretty
I wish
bad
you
picture.
would have. Hopefully she's talking to people now, going to therapy now, but
Yes.
I think therapy would have really helped her during this time because you can even speak to people from the church who have sinned and you don't need to get married in order for God to forgive you for your sins. You can have a conversation with God. He's always going to, if you're religious,
Well, there's a very powerful word in religion, especially in Christianity. It's called absolution. And absolution is granted to you by God if you seek it. Absolution is granted by those who seek it. And if you seek absolution and you are earnest in your heart about it with your partner and you come to Christ, come to your pastor, come to your church, you can be forgiven. Mm-hmm. That's just how it works. It's our contract with the Lord. Seek absolution and ye shall find it.
Okay.
Like my religious stuff, that's about as religious as I'm going to get. Seek salvation and you will be healed.
She's very detailed, so it also makes me think that some of this is true. Like, you know what I mean? She's walking through like a lens. We're walking through Piper's.
It's her therapy, so it's her perspective.
Yeah.
So parts of it can be true, and then other parts can be her vindictiveness and anger and everything else too. So
the way how it's so detailed here, you can kind of. I think I'm going to have a real good,
She's already got some misleading stuff, though. She's got stuff working against her, by your own words. So it's tough.
Let's read.
Continue.
Okay. That evening when we got to we're talking honeymoon. Okay. That evening when we got to the honeymoon suite, he changed. He had been making grand promises about how amazing and physically charged our honeymoon would be. But once we got there and I put on the pretty lingerie I had picked out for him, he scoffed at me and said, "What the fuck makes you think I would want sex with you right now?" And he pulled away every time I tried to get close just to cuddle. I was incredibly confused, but tried to rationalize it that he was tired from the long day. That rationale ran out through Ran out though when he continued throughout the next months to bait me throughout the day with spicy texts. And then when we were home together, he would jump back when I touched his arm and say things like, what are you? Huh? What are you? A fucking sex addict?
Oh, he would say things. When she touched him, he would jump back at her and say, what are you, a fucking sex addict? You wanted sex yesterday and you want it all day today too. As people say.
I mean, this could be, is it possible that sometimes I feel like, is it possible he just also, just like how she had a hard time communicating, is it possible that he also had a hard time communicating and maybe didn't want to have sex with her and and tried to mislead her on during the day to kind of keep it going, but really in reality didn't? Is it possible that the same feelings that
trying to
she
make her
had
feel better
in the beginning is the same feelings that he had, but he went through it too? Is that possible?
And
you know,
it certainly is. And he could have been trying to spare her feelings. Maybe he was having issues sexually at the time too. There's all kinds of
we know
explanations.
too much. This is already way too much.
It really friggin' is. This is way too much. This is, and look,
But I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it though.
I know where this is gonna go.
I'm gonna read it though.
So she's going to enter into a polygamous relationship because she's going to try and please him. That's what she's going to use. This gets so sketch for me because, like, let me tell you something.
But I told you, this is the only feeling.
And they almost always regret it.
I told you. Here's how I felt about this before we press the record button real quick.
Yeah.
What I felt was like, let me not say it.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna keep reading.
Thruples don't work. They have historically low success rate, and you end up hating each other. That's what it seems. Seems to be you end up hating each other. Continue reading.
Even though he had made sexual promises all day long, this went on for 3 years until I just gave up. I played along when he flirted, but expected nothing, even if he promised it. I gave up on how I looked, gave up on trying to initiate with him, and just gave up on having any intimate desires at all. He was less explosive, and we had fewer fights when I just had no needs, so that's what I began doing. He then learned that he could coerce me into sex by love bombing and only initiating when he had put me down and knew I would feel like I had to say yes. This continued throughout our relationship.
It doesn't make sense because she was, I don't know, she kind of says a couple of things there. And I don't know. It's like sexless relationships are really hard to navigate and you are left with questions that aren't always answered. It's I don't know. Things are not making sense to me.
You can read this next part.
Oh, good Lord. Can we skim some of this?
No, I want to know everything.
There's so much. You lied to me. You said we were going to skim this.
No.
This is a big batch of all fucking just her insanity.
I know, but how could we I just want to. All right, so after we got married
in 2017, there was so much I could say. Like within the first 6 months, I was researching signs you're in a relationship with a narcissist, but he was making me feel insane. But we would be here all day, and if I did that, so let's just flash forward to the end of 2019. So she's going to just skip a whole bunch of stuff. From my bed to the 2019, where I was the sickest I've ever been from endometriosis. I was using a walker just to get from my bed to the bathroom. He's the most obsessed he's ever been about his YouTube channel. He had always been too invested in it, but it was a lot during this time. So I think that answers your question. I don't think she helped him build any of it because she's already saying he was too invested. So I got a feeling that this was just his thing. Ever about his YouTube, he's always been too invested.
He spent all of his free time fucking around with his unnecessary set and editing videos for his 20,000 subscribers, which I know now means absolutely nothing. He refused to get a full-time job because it took away from his time to make videos, even though we weren't able to pay our bills or get groceries most weeks. He continued to purchase equipment, and when I would question him on that, he would scream at me and say I didn't have any say since I didn't make most of our money and he needed it. He refused to live in a cheaper, smaller place because he needed a whole room for his YouTube channel. During this time, he also insisted I try to sell feet pics and make
gotta make ends meet, guys.
Oh my gosh, selfie pics and managed an account he made up for my feet. It went nowhere and I felt used. On March 6, 2020, I had surgery in Atlanta, Georgia. The day before we left, he and I had an open conversation about how we were feeling. And because he had been calm during it, I felt safe to say that I didn't feel like I had enough emotional support from him as I was going through this horrible time of pain. Can you read?
Oh, man, this is rough. Where the hell is that?
For reference.
Man, it's so much. Where is it? I'm lost in this word salad.
For reference, I have been passing out almost daily and vomiting from how intense the pain was that I was in. When I said that to him, he burst into tears and ran down the hall yelling and then collapsed on the floor into the fetal position.
He was saying that he sacrificed everything for me, and how dare I say that he doesn't support me, and I was doing just that to hurt him. This is a whole ass fucking argument, man. Like, there should be narrative points.
Dave!
This is painful. Collapsed on the floor to fetal position. He was saying that he sacrificed everything for me, and how dare I say that he doesn't support me, and I was doing this just to hurt him, and he gives everything to me, and I give him nothing. Of course, I comforted him and apologized for what I said. The next day on the plane, when I was nonstop vomiting from the pain I was in, I looked at him for help. He told me to be quiet because I was interrupting his movie. Jesus Christ.
But here's the thing, I do believe that happened.
It could have happened.
The way how she's so detailed with some of this stuff, you know, some of this shit happened.
Some of it happened.
You know, if she had surgery, he said, "Be quiet, you're interrupting my movie."
But we don't know how. My guy, he could have said, "Hey, I'm helping you, but like I got you, but let's just watch the movie." Man, these are gripes, man. These are gripes. Where's the accusations? Where did I want to see? No. Where's the rapes? Where's the frauds? Where's those? No. She said he raped her. I want those. I don't want to know about he was mean to me when I was sick. I want the rapes.
Okay. All right.
Like, come on. She made some serious accusation. Like,
maybe it's in there. You gotta read it. I'll be lazy about it.
It's 5 million pages of this. You knew what you were going to get when you told me we were skimming. Skimming. She lied, and there's food in front of me and a cake in the freezer, and she wants me to listen to this.
Because this guy trying to get him to do a deep dive. This is why this is not a deep dive.
This is not that. This is a shallow pool to be diving in. There's no depth to this pool, baby. No depth.
I believe it was August of 2020, and Jeffree Star.
Oh, Jeffree Star! We're getting a Jeffree Star reference. Here we go. Let's go.
I'm not. You know what? I am not going to make this.
This is amazing.
Comical. No, because she's saying she's been being abused. I'm not going to make this about comedy. Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm not.
You gotta come better than this, man.
Anyways,
I believe it was August. of 2020, and Jeffree Star had just released his Golden Couch apology video. A great reference point. I was taking a bath on the other side of Logan's studio wall and suggested that he make a video about it. The next day, it blew up. Now she's taking credit. I'm just saying, it was a burden before.
This is the beginning of her helping him with his channel. There's a reason why she stated he had 20,000 subs, and now
suddenly the 20,000 subs that didn't matter before, now suddenly she's going to be the muse for his success.
To make it to over 100.
This is not good. This is textbook stuff here, babe. I'm sorry. This is textbook. Continue. The next day it blew up. What he didn't know was that while he was recording the video, I was looking at studio apartments in my hometown and considering reaching out to my family for help to get me out. I was tired of the screaming and fighting and journaling, and I just wanted to be loved and happy. But when the Jeffree Star video took off, Logan calmed. He was receiving praise from thousands of people. He got his first YouTube plaque. He got the first large paycheck, and we were able to pay our bills for the first time. Life seemed to be looking up. However, we were still fighting. So nothing got better then. Both can't be true. And when we did, it was explosive. Screaming, slamming doors, and him telling me to just leave. Then why didn't you leave? If he's telling you to leave, he's not holding you captive. I'm just saying. And when I would say, okay, I'm leaving, he would break down crying and beg me to stay. And grand promises of how he would change.
That's why she answered your question.
Yeah, but fucking still leave. Walk out the door. This dude's that big of a piece of shit. Get out of there. Come on, man. But make promises and telling nowhere and going anyway. In his words, my family didn't want me. He would make grand apologies and gifts, aka love bombing. And she loves that love bombing. He was frequently telling me that since he had taken an apology class and I hadn't, that he was the only one in our relationship who knew how to apologize properly. If he said that, that's legendarily dickish. Like, I'm the only one who knows how to apologize around here.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like something anybody would ever freaking say. A common phrase of his during fights was, "You have no grounds to stand on." Well, did you have grounds to stand? That's something you would say in a fight. I don't know. I'm just, these are just gripes. They're just gripes. I want the fraud. I want the big stuff. When I was trying to bring up something that bothered me, this all continued. God, there's so much. This all continued until we moved to Seattle in 2021. He was constantly exclaiming how great life was. And now that we had a big home and he was making a lot of money, I, however, was more unhappy than ever. He was constantly reading my body language, assuming how I was feeling, telling me that I was lying because my body language wasn't matching up, and then gaslighting me by saying that he didn't read me. These are matters of opinion.
I had no money of my own and had to ask every time I spent anything. I was questioning my reality at every turn. I was completely isolated because anytime I tried to do something social to make friends, including a virtual art hangout, he would have a meltdown about how lonely he was and how dare I take time away from him. Didn't I know how bad it was for him to be alone with his thoughts? This is where I suggested we explore okay.
Here we go.
Well, she suggested it.
Yeah, to make him, just like I said.
Non-monogamy,
Just
okay?
like I said.
All right, non-monogamy, okay.
Called it.
Good. Oh, which is fine. Like, it's totally fine. But I just thought maybe with the way she was going with the story, I thought maybe he was the one who would have probably suggested.
No, not the way that she would. Not the way that
but-
she was
all right.
starting with all the sex stuff. No, I knew it was going to be her. Had to be. She's going to do anything.
It didn't have to be her. It didn't have to be.
Well, it did by the way all of her accusations. The fact that she's claiming that he raped her, the fact that all of his gaslighting, the logical reason why she'd be in a throuple is because she was trying to, again, make her happy. Because if it was his idea, then it's a little bit different. If it's her idea, she still, it explains why she was able to get into it. Because the reality is, a lot of times it's a mutual decision that happens, and then one of them will later regret it. Because these thruples, they get very toxic very quickly, and it's not a good situation a lot of times, and everybody ends up regretting it. And then it's, you made me do this. No, you agreed to it, but I didn't tell you. I really didn't like it. It's like, well, I'm not a fucking mind reader. These are the fights that are happening, and it's impossible to come to a reasonable conclusion. That's why I get frustrated with this stuff. It's not that I'm even trying to be funny about it or make fun of it. It's just, how do you come to a conclusion off of this? This is word salad, half of a conversation. It's so hard. It's awful, too. It's designed to be a hit piece. It's the worst of the worst. But continue.
We rarely had sex. I felt the desire to explore my sexuality, and I secretly just wanted someone to show affection to me. At the suggestion that we explore the idea of non-monogamy, he jumped straight to, let's download apps, which I'm sure you can imagine did not go well. I had major success immediately, and he had no matches.
She's being vindictive, man. She is trying to bait him to respond.
That's funny.
She's going after his manhood now. She's baiting him to respond.
I had matches immediately, as you can see,
Yeah.
he didn't have any matches. That's funny. Okay.
Man, no, she can't say stuff like that because people are going to make fun of her now. Because if she's going to make fun of his appearance, like he couldn't get matches, people are going to be like, they have to question hers because, like,
This led to his biggest meltdown and threats. Yeah, he threatened to leave, then told me to leave and go be with someone I had matched with that day. Told me that I ruined our marriage by suggesting non-monogamy, made a huge scene while we walked our dog, and generally verbally attacked me. I finally calmed him by deleting the apps and organizing a meeting with a couples therapist. In January of 2022, we began seeing our therapist, Sarah.
ooh,
I had no idea.
naming therapist now?
She's naming everybody.
Yeah, that's not
I
good.
had no idea.
I disavow. Just so testicles, spectacles, wallet, and watch. Disavow. Continue.
I had no idea what a bad idea. what, oh my gosh, sorry. I had no idea what a bad idea therapy with Logan was. He would act one way in our sessions and then scream at me after. He would tell me not to share things so he wouldn't look bad to her. When he threw something during a fight and it breezed past my face, I told him that if he threw something again, I was leaving and I brought it to Sarah. His excuse was that he had to get his anger out. And it was small, so why did it matter? Sarah had separate sessions with us later that week where she asked me if I felt safe, and I lied and said yes because I thought he could be listening in.
That's her opportunity.
Okay, but like, she explained.
Yeah, but it's not a good explanation.
What do you want her to say? What do you want her to say? I
don't
have
know.
video footage in the household of him abusing me. What?
I think I want a little consistency in the story. I mean, like it's a very inconsistent tale she's telling, and all of the reasonings that why she does stuff are very convenient, and it's just these are the things that I typically can't really mess with because it's just accusations from a woman who is admitting she's bitter and angry and trying to take everything away from him. He's not defending himself. He's not punching back. You know what I mean? This is painful. This is very deep stuff that she is throwing out there for the world forever. I don't know. This is just tough stuff, man. Continue.
I don't even know where I was at.
It's completely grass.
Yeah, I mean, up to you. You're gonna skip everything.
Sarah had separate sessions with Leo, and I told her I couldn't even go to the grocery store alone because he would have a meltdown. She told me, "Isn't that a lot of control for someone to have over you?" And I said, "Is it? You already know that it just completely unable to grasp what was happening." She's already said that she knew that it was. To me, I thought this was all normal because I had no one to share any of this with and had been trained to never say a bad word about my husband. He always had an excuse and always made up for what he did and he took a class on apology, so he means it's right. He means it, right? Well, he threw a phone onto my camera and that was next to me on a bed, and his phone broke and I didn't leave. I hid that one from my therapy. Tossed the phone in the general direction of another phone and it accidentally broke the fucking phone? Like, come on, man. I could do that and accidentally break your shit like that. This is petty. This is petty. I hid that one from my therapy because I was shamed I didn't leave. He never threw anything around me again. But during fights, he would say, "I'm trying so hard not to throw something right now. You should be grateful." That's fucked. Which was chilling every time. Around this time, we met Bunny through her now ex-husband, whom Logan had met in 2015 when they were both working at Walmart. This just gets even white trashier, doesn't it? No. This gets
There's
white
nothing
trashier.
wrong with working at Walmart.
No, but throubles and divorces and fights and craziness and all this, they definitely paints a new picture for me in Montana as well. Yep. Sons of the soil, as
Aren't
they
they
like
now
to
in
say.
Seattle?
That's not much better. That's just hippie fucking rednecks. That's just beatnik rednecks up there. Have you been to Seattle? A lot of coffee and depression up there is all I'm saying. A lot of coffee.
Isn't Grey's Anatomy in Seattle?
A lot of coffee and depression up in Seattle. Let's see. In April of 2022, Logan.
No, did you say Bunny was a charming friend?
Oh, Bunny was a charming friend.
Seemed to care about us.
And to no one's surprise, we were also, and to no one's surprise, was also polyamorous. So they were already polyamorous, even though it seemed like they didn't actually get to it. But she, inconsistent. In April of 2022, Logan and I decided with Sarah that we would start exploring relationships outside of our own. However, when I asked out Bunny, Logan threw a fit saying I was ruining our marriage and tried to gaslight Sarah and me into believing I had done this maliciously. Thankfully, she didn't fall for it, and neither did I. He also had a meltdown saying I thought we would share Bunny, and I was like, she's not a toy, she's a person. In May, Bunny and I began dating to set a scene for our relationship. We only ever cuddled and held hands occasionally. Unfortunately, this was also around the time that me and my endo was getting bad again, and I was having to use a wheelchair or walker to get to most places. Just for context, soon after we started dating Logan and Bunny,
I just gotta say, how bad was her endometriosis? Because I have endometriosis, and it is like striking pain, absolutely insane. Just very like, so I can't imagine, is she just having striking pain this whole time where like she's got to be
like it's very, I mean, I've had that myself.
Jesus.
I was bedridden from chronic pain, so I mean, it's that is very possible. But the coming and going, I don't know. Again, when she's putting this much information out, she's begging for people to call her out and check. I'm just saying she better have diagnoses on everything. If she wants any of this to work out, I hope she's not a self-diagnoser. I just hope she's not. I hope she's, please have those diagnoses. Good God. Unfortunately, this was also around the time when soon after we started dating, Logan and Bunny started hanging out one-on-one while both claiming nothing was going on. I think it was literally the week after I started dating her. Logan hired her without telling me first. Then things really started to go downhill. In July, I had surgery in Portland. Logan and Bunny both came with me. Logan couldn't handle seeing physical attention between Bunny and me, despite saying differently whenever questioned about it. So the night after my surgery, we were all hanging out in the bedroom while I was recovering, and Bunny was next to me. Upon seeing me touch her knee, Logan got up and left the room in a huff. He went out and sat in the kitchen to cry, and Bunny got up to go comfort him. During this time, all I could hear the whole conversation, which lasted hours. Logan and Bunny discussed how I apparently coerced Logan. Go out there and say something. Go out there and say, motherfucker, what? What? Come on, check him. Duh. Go out there and say something.
You know what's really annoying?
What's that?
If you didn't read this article, if I didn't read this article, from just listening to the 2 videos that she's put out there and the screenshots and all that, she's making it believe that he cheated on her.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off,
She's
because
painting a lot of false narratives here.
What pisses me off is that I went into this thinking that he's such a piece of shit because he cheated on her. Like, you hired her and that's your team, but you end up cheating. No, you're the person who actually orchestrated this and wanted this, and I'm pissed off that like she made it seem that he cheated on her, and now I'm pissed off.
And if she's misleading that, how much more is she misleading? I mean, I'm sorry. That's a big mislead to find out after all the cheating accusations. This is why she lost in court. I think I was right. I think everything that she's saying here, she tried to admit in court, and the judge was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" And she got laughed out of court. She probably got embarrassed. And now this is a last bullet situation.
And on top of that, you found Bunny. On top of that, you're the one who, I think that's why she's really upset, is that she set up her husband's probably soon to be next wife.
She DJ Khaled'd. She played herself. I mean, it happens.
Well, let's see. I'm starting to like. I feel for her, but like
to a degree.
it's starting.
I feel bad for her, as I would for a person who just continues to make exceptionally bad fucking life choices. That's how I feel bad for her right now. That's right now. That's all I got. Mm-hmm. And he's probably a little bit of a dick, but that's about as bad as I've got at the moment. Yeah. I'm definitely open to more. I want more of the bad stuff. Give me the R words. Mm-hmm. Give me the bad shit. Let's go. Oh, yeah, I'm sexy sounding. Look how sexy I sound. Logan and Bunny agreed with everything he said. After he seemingly vented enough, they began discussing spirituality and how much more spiritually mature they were than everyone else, and how much they thought that they were each other's soulmates. While they were having this lengthy conversation, I needed my surgery medication. So I texted Logan, to which he replied, "Be right there," then took over an hour and a half to bring me the medication and yelled at me for interrupting him because I should have known that he would need to vent about me. After all, I was taking so much work. I was drugged and in pain and shocked, so I just sat there and took it and silently cried myself to sleep like almost every other night. The next morning, they both acted like nothing happened.
Around this time, Logan's followers had voted on the charity I chose, the Endometriosis Research Center, for a collaboration with Kurt River. I was supposed to design these shirts as I am an artist and am the one with endo. However, when I was recovering on the couch, I heard him give her the task in another room. I couldn't fight it. He made sure I had no say anytime I brought things up. All right, so this sounds very
Sounds like
petty.
she wasn't getting it done, and he went ahead and gave the task to somebody who was functioning at the moment. Unfortunately, she was having an endo. She couldn't function. She couldn't get the job done.
Makes it a point to say this one hurt. Like that hurt that
because now she's being replaced.
She had no say, and she found basically her replacement. In August, Bunny and I had a date that went well, even though we had been butting heads since the day we got together. When we hugged goodbye, she went to kiss me. This would have been fine had we not explicitly discussed many times that before she and I kissed, I wanted her to ask me for consent because I might not be ready for it.
That's so I can understand why he referred to himself as a caretaker now, man. This is a very, very high maintenance relationship. And I'm not even saying that's wrong, but you got to be in the right frame of mind to be with somebody who wants you to ask for permission every single time you go to kiss them. That's just, it's a heavy, if you're not into that lifestyle, that could be, I can't deal with you. That's not my cup of tea. I'm glad that it is for you, but I can't jive like that because eventually I'm going to just kiss you. You know what I mean? And then I'm a rapist. It's not good. I'm not going to sexually assault you by accident. Fuck that. So it seems like she might be somebody that might get on people's nerves a little bit, possibly, because that's a lot.
Here's what I will say. I think it's extremely a hard life to live if you're in a relationship. Here's what I will say. If someone says in a relationship that they don't want to be kissed, then they have that right to say they don't want to be kissed.
Absolutely.
If someone in a relationship says they don't want to have sex, regardless if you're my partner or not, we're not having sex.
Absolutely.
With that being said, if every single time I'm in a relationship and I have to ask for consent to kiss that person, that can be very frustrating for the opposing partner, for the opposite partner. That can be very, very frustrating and just hard to live with. So I can understand the frustration there.
Big time.
Especially since she's the one who initiated all of this.
Yeah. It's it seems like her doubts cause other people to have doubts. Mm-hmm. And when you doubt, the questions are very difficult. This seems like again, very, very difficult situation we've gone through.
I lost my space.
The truth was, discussed many times. And I guess I wanted her to ask me for consent because I may not be ready for it. The real truth was, so that wasn't even the truth. The real truth was that Logan wasn't ready for it. Oh, come on.
She did not ask me.
And tried to pull my head into a kiss. When I pulled back and said not yet, she was silent and didn't say another word. So I just had to leave. Logan, of course, tried to make this all about him. You just made it about him. I had to say, I made it all about him. Shit, lost my place.
Logan, of course, tried to make this all about him. I had to say when I got home, I'm the one who just went through this. I need time to process for him to stop saying how awful of a person he is and how I should just leave him, anticipating me to comfort him. For the first time, I didn't. We were supposed to go to the Ren Fair as a group that weekend, and I didn't feel comfortable going before Bunny and I discussed what had happened. She, however, did not want to meet in person and only wanted to communicate through written format. When I said that, she had told me and agreed to one thing, consent, and she acted another way, forcing herself on me, and I was upset by her reaction to it or lack thereof. She gave me the silent treatment while still constantly messaging Logan. We eventually communicated through email where she repeatedly brushed off responsibility for her actions, but I was so used to that with Logan. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
This is a rough read.
I know, but I was so used to that with Logan, and I thought it was fine and normal.
Skimming?
And I was in the wrong.
Can we start skimming here?
Hold on.
I just want to skim a little.
I know you do. No, okay? Screw you and your skimming.
You told me we were skimming. So no, you don't get to screw me in my skimming.
You would never agree to do a deep dive if you don't dress it with skimming.
You told me skim. That's called a lie.
I know. I'm aware. I lied to you. I
Careful,
can take accountability.
Piper. Don't lie.
I lied.
Piper, that's called accountability.
I lied. Okay.
I lied to you. I misled you.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I'm owning it.
At least
They were frequently missing.
like that helps.
At least I'm aware.
That says more about me now. Keep reading there, gripey.
Okay. All during this time, Logan and Bunny are getting closer, but denying it to everyone around them who points it out. They were frequently mistaken as a couple of the group because they were always joking and giggling and fucking around together. The next week, I broke up with Bunny. When the straw broke the camel's back, she told me that she viewed Logan as her soulmate and would always put more energy into her best friend relationships than her romantic relationships because she always wants to act her best for partners, but always wants to be real with friends only. That was just such bullshit to me. I couldn't take it and broke up with her over text, and she was still refusing to meet up to speak with me. 3 days later, she and Logan began dating, although to her, he called her best friend, but our therapist was adamant that he was in a romantic relationship with her, which he was. So to me, he called her partner. He texted her constantly. They spent every Sunday together. And even when I was having panic attacks and experiencing psychosis over the fact that someone who was supposed to be good to me was spending time with someone who had assaulted me was too much.
Yeah, this is rough, man.
He consistently took her aside. Now I understand why he hasn't said anything.
Yeah,
he consistently took her aside and began bringing.
Silence is his best fucking friend, man. Let her do this. This is great for him. Just gather your lawsuit, pimp. Just gather your lawsuit. Get it ready.
Not even. I just wouldn't say anything.
No, you don't. You don't say a word.
I mean, yeah. This is definitely. I'm trying to come in for
that
Piper
therapist
here.
might come for her.
I don't know. I'm trying to help Piper here, but I don't.
I think she fucked up with all the therapist stuff. She's made some bad, I don't know, man. This is bad. Sarah's going to come for her ass.
He consistently took her side and he began bringing her into our screaming match fights. He once told me that she said I never do anything for him, so why should he do anything for me? And he agreed with her while screaming in my face. But here's the thing. That's the part of being in a relationship with 3 people. You're going to have some people agree with you or disagree with you. It's 3 people. So they're either going to be with you or against you.
Someone's going to be outvoted.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you disagree, someone's about to be outvoted. That's how math works.
Yeah.
That's
sucks.
numbers.
Sister Wives didn't end pretty well.
Oh man, that got really sad recently too. The son died.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
That's not what I was referring
I
to.
know.
But
It's
yeah.
just really. It's ended worse and worse.
Yeah, it's just, it's all nice and dandy in the beginning, and then you realize, oh shit, this person likes this person more, and it's teach their own. But
well, think about how bad the success rate of just a regular relationship, whether it's divorce or not. I mean, you break up a lot in life, so it's like relationships are tough. Now add a whole ass another person to that, where one of them is gonna, and now one person in it is now changing sexuality or altering the sexual relationship nature of the relationship to a degree. They're now one is
it's gotta suck for Piper that she found her replacement.
Make you pretty bitter, wouldn't it?
That would piss me off.
Piss you off enough to write a couple things on the old internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I'm really mad that now I introduced this as, he's a piece of shit for cheating on her. And then we realized reading this that she's the one who initiated everything.
There was absolutely no cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating never took place. In fact, if you want to get technical, the cheating of any kind was really brought up by her. This is why you dot your I's and cross your T's, boys and girls. This is a tough one. This is a toughie. And I'm trying really, I don't want to beat this girl up. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to make fun of her. She looks like she's really struggling, but this is hard. This is rough. This is going to get her made fun of big time. And this is the type of stuff you don't want out there forever.
The fall of 2022 was the worst month of my life. We were rarely even sleeping in the same bed. I cried all day, every day, screaming matches every night, where he would be touching my nose with his screaming and my,
Oh. Yeah. But actually
wow.
making contact. That's
Really?
that's bad. You should be leaving.
I started packing bags. I don't even know how many times, and told him I was leaving, to which he would suddenly switch tones and beg me to stay, claiming that he would change.
Fight.
And then when that wouldn't work, he would become scary and tell me he wouldn't allow me to leave. I couldn't have any money because look around, he made the money for everything I did. Wait, what? Look around, he made the money for everything I did nothing.
Oh, thank you, Pete.
What?
He made a new logo for the channel.
Oh.
That's my inner turmoil right now. That's a good one, Petey. Good job, buddy.
Man, where was I?
Let's see. I started packing my bags. I didn't even know how many times. I couldn't have any money because look around. He made the money for everything. I did nothing. He would tell me that my family wouldn't take me in because I'm queer and I had no way to leave. One time, and I am ashamed of this, I got in his face and screamed that this is what he does to me. And he pushed me hard into a wall and I fell on the floor. To be honest, I can't even remember the moment from a first person perspective. I completely disassociated. After he pushed me and I fell on the floor, I got up and calmly walked to the bedroom and barricaded the door behind me as it didn't have a lock. There was, however, a patio door in there too, and I didn't know it wasn't locked, and he came in despite my pleas for some time alone. He was sobbing and begging me not to call the police or leave because he would look so bad if I did. He said he was sorry over and over and kept blocking me from my phone, blocking me from leaving once I had packed my bag. He wouldn't let me leave, so I finally got up and slept on the couch. The next day, it was like it never happened. A couple of days prior, he had threatened to call the police because I gently put my hand on his chest and he was screaming in my face, and I asked him to back up. He grabbed my wrist and threw my hand away, saying he would call the police for me putting my hands on him, and they would believe him because I'm crazy. I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. Can we skim? In October, I told him I was leaving and that he could either have a relationship with me or with Bunny, but my mental health was suffering and I could not do this anymore. It took him 3 days to decide that I was who he wanted. I believe it was on or around Halloween when I drove up to Olympia to break up. You already broke up with Bunny. He cried the whole way home, and that night, I made him do this. I kept just trying to stand my ground and say, no, I gave you a choice and this is what you chose. Our therapist had to remind him that on multiple times, and straight up say to Logan, this is not Piper's fault. You need to stop telling them it is. In this session, he would agree, but then as soon as the call would end, he would begin screaming at me that this was all my fault and that I took away his soulmate from him, and how dare I do this when I was not even doing anything for him. Somehow I was able to stand my ground. Tag.
Okay.
Tag.
She just talks about, I was reading the next.
Oh, good.
So she just talks about how
financial abuse.
Financially, he wasn't even putting any money into her card. Her card would get declined all the time. She didn't have control over that. So that's what that paragraph's about.
A couple of weeks later, it was the scariest incident of our marriage. We were in Portland. It was
Portland, Maine? Probably Oregon.
I've had Oregon, I would think. Oregon. Night, and we were Portland, Maine. Shout out. We were about to head home from a club, and they suggested we go in the car in the parking lot. We were talking about our childhoods, and he said he had been sexually abused. She's putting out way too much shit now.
So in the car in the parking lot, we were talking about our childhoods, and he said he had been sexually abused by being punished for masturbating. I told him that wasn't sexual abuse; it was religious, and he got the most upset he had ever been. So
she's just trying to embarrass him now. That's not cool.
At this point, I don't even think she's trying to embarrass him. I think I think it's very possible that she's not.
Wait a minute.
That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's very possible she's not she's not aware.
No.
I don't think she has any self-awareness.
Can you imagine if he would have done that to a woman, out her story like that? Mm-hmm. That kind of pisses me off.
No,
man.
It does.
Especially if it is true and he was molested, that's fucked up. That pisses me off. And she's a fucking monster for that.
Yeah.
That's some fucked up shit. That kind of triggers me. I got to be honest. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to actually start to hate her, but that pisses me off. She took away his there's a word for that people like throw around in situations like this. She took away his authority, his not his sovereignty, but there's a word that people like to use. Took away his voice. There's a specific word. She took away his authority. There's a word for it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know the word you're looking for.
But there's a specific phrase that always gets used for situations like this, and that's what she just did to him. That's fucked up. Even if everything else is true. Man, that's a fucked up thing to do.
What she did. Now she's crossing territory where I'm just like, take this shit down.
Yep.
And I hate to call her whole entire. Seems to be her journal shit. So I shouldn't say shit, but honestly, you can basically make your arguments or make your point, or you don't even have to show proof of anything. But I think she crossed the line when she starts sharing things about sexual stories that he has told her in his childhood. Yeah. You start to cross the line. All of a sudden, now you're changing the conversation to people caring less about what you've been through, because now you're two wrongs don't make a right.
This sounds like abuser behavior to me. Mm-hmm. She's manipulating things, and she's already done it a few times throughout. This is
it almost makes me question who is the abuser.
Yep.
Exactly. And I hate to say that, but when you post shit like this online and it's something of someone that they told you in confidence in private, then I don't know. I don't watch enough Observe to know if he's just like, spilling out the tea like that, his business and things like that. Not that this is tea, but Ollie's
I think we need a palate cleanse.
Ollie.
We need a palate cleanse. We need a moment of cute.
He's like, put me down.
I want to go away.
Put me down.
I'll send you to Piper.
Oh gosh.
His sovereignty. There you go.
All right. He began screaming in my face about how dare I invalidate his trauma and tell him what happened to him. Here's the thing. She has not once taken any. You could be like in the right and still take some accountability for something. And she has failed to take any accountability for anything in this story. It's all about what this person did to me. It's like she's incapable of seeing another side to anything except
it's like
hers.
Watching the J-Lo video all over again.
Oh,
it's like watching the J-Lo movie.
Oh, I don't think it's like that.
It's very self-absorbed and only one-sided.
Can you tell him to get down?
Ollie, get out or I'll murder you. I'll send you to a Chinese food factory so fast. Get down.
He knows we're recording, so he's like, F you guys.
You think I won't beat you? Get down.
He said F you. He said F you.
Yeah?
He said F you.
Where are you going?
He said F you.
Motherfucker. He did say F me.
He did. He literally was like, you guys are recording, so F you.
Fuck
my ass
you,
is going in the kitchen. He's like, F you.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Little shit. He is so big. He's gotten huge.
My only thing is like when you be like swimming in that litter and then you get up on the kitchen counter, it's not exactly a great idea, Ollie.
No.
Because now
you don't like my poop?
No,
not
at all. Not
you
the
don't like
litter
my
stuff.
poopies?
Nope. It's like put me down.
You very much so. Don't you scratch me. Autonomy. That's the word. She took his autonomy.
Autonomy.
Yeah, that's a good word too. Mm-hmm. That's the word. All right. Okay. Food?
Hold on. No. Hold on. We're almost done.
Okay.
He's gonna get that food.
Ollie. Well, the food's right here.
Oh, okay. I begged him to let me out and said I didn't want to ride with him. And how does she get to disclose something that was so private and traumatic for him and then make it her trauma? Mm-hmm. And then he wouldn't
how could she even make that about his, she made his molestation about her.
The heck?
Yeah. I wonder why he would seek the company of someone else.
Now I'm starting to understand.
This is making more and more sense.
Why he talked to her the way he did in those screenshots.
Oh,
because this is
he
the only,
had to.
He has to talk to her this way because this is the only way you can talk to her.
Anything else will set her off. Yep. You know what? This was the smartest thing you put up. I'm really glad that you wanted to read this.
Really? Because you still don't want to read it all?
No, because now we know. We're good now. We read enough to know. Now.
No, you just okay. We're almost done.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. I'm scrolling.
Where are we at? What paragraph?
Okay, now we had been somewhat discussing the possibility. I skipped the part where she made his trauma about her. So we had been somewhat discussing the possibility of spending some time apart to give us each space, but Logan came to me with the idea that we spend the month of December apart. I very quickly agreed, but I didn't know was that he requested this time because he wanted to get back with Bunny without my knowledge. So we spent most of December 2022 apart, and that was when I realized that I was happier alone than I was with him. Up until this point, he had me completely convinced that I was the taker in our codependent relationship because I was sick, and that meant that I think she might die if she takes like any responsibility, any accountability.
I love that she realized she was done after he decided to get back together with somebody else. You know what? I'm done with this. You didn't make a choice. You got the choice handed to you, lady. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
So we spent where are we at?
So I'm scrolled down to during December, Logan also decided that it was time I was financially independent. He decided it was no longer his responsibility to pay for my medical bills, food, gas, anything. He decided to put a down payment on a car for me so that I had a mode of transportation and claimed it was a Christmas gift. He expected me to make the monthly payments on the car by donating plasma twice a week until the $12,000 debt was paid off because, once again, he didn't want me to get a real job. So I began donating plasma twice a week until I was anemic. This was how I paid for my pain medication or pain medicine, food, gas, because our joint bank account was constantly overdrawn. Upon realizing that I was very happier alone and donating plasma for my own money for once, I told Logan at the end of December that I wanted a divorce. At the first, he began by begging me not to, then screaming at me, how dare I leave him? And then it was like, upon realizing that this time I wasn't budging, he calmly gave in. He agreed that this was the best choice and told me he still wanted to make videos with me. He told me that he wanted out of the relationship a long time ago, but he didn't want to leave because of how people would perceive him for leaving a disabled person. He told me he was afraid of what I would say about him because I apparently don't talk nicely about people
why.
who.
I wonder why. Why would he ever think that? This is not her first diatribe. I'm just saying. There's other manifestos out there.
Okay, let's go down.
This is great.
Wait, what? I read Disgusting Kiss. Hold on. I still didn't know that he had been back in contact with Bunny, and I still believed I was a taker in our relationship, so I agreed that we would still be friends and do things together. It was really weird, though, when he left and asked me for one last kiss. I felt full disgust during that kiss. Okay.
She gave it to him, though. Why? I have no fucking clue. None.
Oh, my God. We're almost done. You want to read?
Where are we at? I remember telling you. I remember telling my friends and family members the most minute details about our separation, everyone being really mad at him, and I still didn't understand why. What? I still thought I was the problem. January 9, 2023, I moved into my own apartment and began to feel peace for the first time. Logan and I were still speaking amicably, but I was really weirded out by that he was continuing to say I love you to me. I was terrified of starting anything with him, so I just kept saying it back. A couple of days later, I was unpacking my apartment and I started getting notifications for Observe, and I realized I hadn't logged out of things yet on my phone. I was getting login verification notifications for another Mac and iPhone. Logan doesn't have either, so I knew it was Bunny. I texted him asking if I needed to do anything with notifications, just trying to see if he would come clean, and he told me he was changing the passwords. I said, no, you're not. I know it's Bunny, which he denied. I then told him I could see on the calendar that he had hired her back almost 2 weeks earlier. He just told me to log out of everything and that it wasn't my business what he did. I asked him, why did you lie to me? He said he never did. I then told him that things were no longer amicable and needed all my stuff back by midnight, or I was calling the cops for theft. That's not how things go. Around 9 p.m., he dropped off maybe a quarter of my stuff in the rain. So you wanted your stuff that night in the rain. outside my apartment building and never let me know he dropped it off. So it was all soaked. You wanted it. Stop. This was all where I began waking up to everything he had been doing to me and how fucked up it all was. It sounds like you realize.
So then I read a whole paragraph for you. Okay.
So
I'll just summarize it. Basically, she says how she ended up working at Starbucks and found and started dating this guy, and I guess it didn't work out. She went into psychosis, had a mental breakdown. Moved in with her mom, her family. They took care of her dogs, and they hired an attorney. And Logan wanted his filming equipment back.
Although he destroyed some by throwing glass bulbs of shatter over everything, he also said he would do our taxes jointly, but then tried to gaslight me and my parents when we asked if they were done. And he said he was never going to do them in the first place. He has. It sounds like somebody being done to me, man. He has withheld income from me that is legally mine, as well as our hefty tax return. He continues to have videos with me up on his channel, to which I'm not seeing a cent. He has threatened me with defamation, but I've decided I'm not going to cower in fear while he continues to spread dangerous messages and gains a following. Lady, he's already threatened you with defamation. You need to be careful. You need to be careful. You are about to lose a lot more than what you've already lost. See, I think I called that too earlier. I said if he wants to go after her, she's fucked. And she's saying he's already threatening her with that. If that's true, yikers.
This is absolutely... I have not read anything that indicates that he abused her. If anything...
Sounds like a bad relationship.
Yeah. It sounds like it was... I mean, and I understand why she's like this. She found his next wife. You know, she literally
she did scouting for him. He should get her a finder's fee.
His next wife and maybe even his future kids. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
She did all that. Yeah. And what does she get in return? Nothing.
Golf clap.
You know, honestly, in a situation like this, you live and you learn. She seems to really love her therapist, so keep your therapist. And
Sarah ain't gonna take her back after that. Do you think if you're a therapist and you see that on the internet and your name got dragged, she had this therapist taking sides, which therapists never do.
If that's the truth.
Yes, but that's even worse if it's not the truth. Now this therapist has her lying on her name. Like that could cost her business. Like this is really bad.
But she doesn't say the therapist's last name.
Sarah therapist in fucking in Seattle or wherever.
I mean, Sarah is a pretty popular name.
There are people who have found people through a bed sheet on the internet. They will find a Sarah therapist like that in a state. Are you kidding me? They will find where they live and find the closest Sarah therapist to their location, and boom, she's doxxed. This is terrible. I'll bet you I could find who this is within 20 minutes. That's how sick this is. That's terrible. I know where they live.
All right, well, then I changed my statement. How about you find a new therapist? And how about, I think instead of take this down, and I think what you do is you print this out, bring this to your new therapist, and you really talk about it. Talk about it. And this does seem like the type of person that can't understand what they've done wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this seems like the type of person, like, I was right this whole time. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. You know, this is how somehow she would flip it and be like, this is what they did to me. This is why that happened, because they did this to me. And so I think she really needs someone, first, be honest with yourself, be truthful with yourself, and see another therapist, print this out, have long conversations about this, and hopefully you're able to move on from this. But that's what you need to do, because this is absurd. Nowhere did I see that he abused you. Like, there was nothing that this was your story that you had to share, and I didn't hear any abuse in that. And I honestly had her back in the beginning, but after this shit, like, I don't understand how you thought you were. I'm starting to question who the abuser was.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. It sucks that you found your ex-husband's new wife. I'm sorry, but this isn't it. So
take your time, suss out your thoughts, get it right, because when you don't, this is what happened.
And then you had it. How is it okay? Can I just ask this? How is it okay for you to find Bunny and then post on your social media platform that, because you had me thinking that he cheated on her with you.
Yeah.
But you posted on there and was like, oh, you know, this is the girl who he cheated on me with, who he's with now, and she was married. Like, bitch, you found her. You found her. Like, that pissed me off because you really had me believe that he cheated on you with her. So, anyways.
Now, I would like to point out, though, if there is some evidence that can be pointed to, I will always side with her when they're 100%. I will change my opinion so fast if you can prove any of this, because a lot of this is fucking horrible.
But it just pissed me off a bit. Like, it pissed me off that she made it seem like, okay, I'm just repeating myself.
She outed people. She's doxed people. She misled about the allegations. She never explained any of the fraud, any of the fraud allegations. She never once even touched the fraud allegations. And all of that fucking word salad, not one fraud allegation. She doesn't ever address the fact that he doesn't have degrees that she said she's fucked.
And to be fair, did Observe say he had degrees?
She's saying he did, but even so,
I don't know.
that's
I don't
not a
watch
crime.
him like that to know
It's
if he
ridiculous.
like said, because from my understanding too, even when you watch shows like Lie to Me and shit, they never actually go to a school to learn how they. It's just based off of your
intuition.
Yeah, your experience.
Really? Yeah,
so
intuition, experience, and all that. 100%.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else on this?
Yeah, Dave, I have another thing that I want to go over. Yes,
I'm
Dave,
so
I do.
hungry.
I have another.
What else do we have? What else would you like?
This was
fun, actually.
Really? Because you wanted to end it.
It's been 2 hours. It's a good show.
Oh, really?
It's been 2 hours and 8 minutes, actually.
Oh.
Oh.
It doesn't feel like it.
I know. Time flies when you're having Dave.
Or fun. Just fun.
It's a synonym for...
You find a way to add Dave in every single thing.
Because Dave is a way of life. Dave is love. Dave is life. Dave is the way.
I'm sure you believe that.
I do. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. If you don't believe the way of Blossom is the one true truth, fix yourself.
Oh,
I'm the shit. If you don't believe it, no one else will.
It's okay. The lies you tell yourself.
As long as I believe them, who cares?
As long as you believe them, that's all that matters.
You're with me. So one other person believes. But that was fun. That was fun. This is back-to-back nights of reconcilable differences, but we're going to do another one Sunday.
Well, I don't know because we just did one today. So
yeah, I know, but you can't stay away.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. But we'll be if we don't do one this Sunday, then we'll do one next week.
Yeah, so you'll get them periodically whenever we feel fit.
No, once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
When we feel fit.
At least once a week.
Well, this technically is the one a week then, isn't it?
Yeah, because we didn't go through this yesterday because Mr. was like,
do I need to pull up your clip when you were on the floor in front of that camera?
But I was willing to be
Fake. You know what I need.
trooper.
Make it
I was
happen.
willing to be a trooper.
It's time Blossom gets indoctrinated into the way.
And still carry on. I was willing to be a trooper. So.
Pull it up. Anyways, you know what to do. Go forth. Do fake things.
Anywho. I thought the whole point was toughing it out.
We did. Hey, I did the coolest thing ever.
What'd you do?
I wasn't one of those bitches who grabbed the milk. Oh, no. I calmly and coolly.
No, you poured 3 cups.
Yes, but I calmly and coolly grabbed my milk and made a declarative statement of drinking my milk. I was not a panic. I was on top of my heat. I beat my heat. Beat it. It was no more problem for me.
Sure.
But I'm starving and we have to go eat because I'm really hungry.
I know. We got some lobster.
We got some lobster. So I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Blossom, you got anything, final words for the people at home?
See you next week.
We'll see you next week. And make sure all of your differences are reconcilable. Have a great night.
Bye.
Peace.